Question about Deandre Carter. How much did you know about him before he came here?
Yeah.
And what have you kind of learned about him?
Well, Deandre and I have the same agent, so I've known Deandre for a few years now, and I didn't really know the type of player he was before I got here. I knew he kind of had some special teams background, played receiver. I knew he was a great dude because, you know, we've obviously had interactions outside of before he got here. But when he got here, you just saw the ability that he had. He was just a guy who just needed that opportunity. And, you know, it jumped off. You could see it right when he got here how dynamic he was returning the ball. So we knew he obviously had a chance of making the team there. But I don't think enough people gave him credit of the way how good he can be at receiver. And people see his stature and just think he's a slot guy. But he can play the slot and the outside and be pretty effective. So just seeing the way he's developed and make the most of his opportunity here has been really cool. Just from just like a player to player, not take out the personal experience that I've had with Deandre. Just all that he's done since he's been here. He's a very humble guy. He's just happy to be here helping the team. And to see him be able to come out and help us week in, week out, it seems like, you know, stepping up for guys who are down in the receiver room, making big plays in the special teams. That's what this league is all about, and he deserves it. He really does. And I'm excited to see what he does next. And I think it's just really cool when you see a guy have success. Obviously, it's a reflection of him, but he deflects it to other people. And I think that's really cool when you see a guy having as much success as he's having, and he still doesn't try to take it onto himself. He tries to give the credit to others.
Do you guys work together in the offseason? Do you train together much?
No, we didn't. We didn't train together this offseason, but you know, I know he's just a guy who's always developing. He's been developing, you know, his receiver skills, and obviously he's been a dynamic returner in the league. But I just think I didn't even know when he got here that he played receiver at such a high level like he can.
It's easy to look back now and be like, oh, Terry, third-round pick, like, you know, going to become, you know, #1 receiver. But coming into the league, did you focus like more on special teams because that was going to be a thing? And I guess at what point did you stop working on special teams?
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, coming into the NFL, you know, that was kind of like my reputation as a dominant special teams player, and my whole mindset coming into the NFL, coming from Ohio State, I knew there's only one ball that could go around. So I was just going to try to make the most of my opportunities, and you know, people kind of know the story about the Senior Bowl and everything. So when I kind of got here, and you know, Nate had me starting on all the special teams, I was happy. You know what I mean? I was just happy to be on the field, but I wasn't going to stop there. I knew I had the ability to be a starting receiver in this league. And when I got here and started to get the grips of the playbook and started to get my opportunity to run with the twos and then got some one reps, you know, I really just gained more and more confidence. And my biggest mantra has always just been just trying to make the most of my opportunities. And, you know, I got the fortunate opportunity to do that and start my first game. And, you know, it's just ironic. I didn't think it was going to happen as fast as it did, but I was always ready for the moment for it to happen. And I just think, you know, faith and hard work really helped withstand me during those times where you didn't really know if you were going to get that opportunity. But that's why I'm always so excited for guys getting that opportunity, because I know what it can do once you get that momentum and you can snowball it into even much more. So, and I joke with the special teams guys all the time because I sometimes be in their meetings and they're like, man, why are you in here? You starting receiver? I'm like, man, I'm a special teams dude at heart. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I know how much that means in the game. And, you know, obviously you saw what the punter did for New Orleans, and that changes the game when you're able to pin a team down inside the 5-yard line consistently. I tell Nate all the time, if you ever need me, I got no problem going back out there. But, you know, I was just excited to have an opportunity to play in the NFL.
What do you miss about special teams?
I think as a gunner more so, I think you really have that chance to flip the field, especially you get to see the way Tress punts the ball, and that's a gunner's dream in my opinion. I know it's a little different in the NFL because you face a little bit more double teams than you do in college, but when you got a punter like that could give you hang time and depth like that, it makes your job really easy because you just got to, you know, get down there and try to force a fair catch. Now, obviously, the guys are a lot better in the NFL than they are in college, but that was the first thing I noticed when I got here getting those reps. You know, thinking I was just going to be a starter on the gunner at first, seeing the way Tress Wade punted the ball, I was like, oh, man, I can't wait to, you know, I mean, he's going to make my job super easy. So that was kind of just my mindset there.
Thanks.
No problem.
How often, or like, when is the last time you popped into a special teams meeting? Like, how often? Like, when was the?
I'm there on Fridays, especially because we kind of go more so over the situational things, onside kick, hands team. So I'm coming on a little bit of those things. But, you know, I have no problem. Like, I'm sometimes locked into when we're having special teams period. I know sometimes it's a period for position players that kind of do other things, but I'll be watching and asking. I know Cam is one of our gunners, so you know, I'm always locked in to see what they're doing. Trap, I think, does a really good job being out there at gunner. It's not an easy position to play. None of special teams is. And I have nothing but the respect for those guys, the way they try to impact the game in their own way.
I wanted to ask about Deami.
Yeah.
You know what it's like to come into the league, have success kind of right away, but
yeah.
It's kind of been, I don't want to say opposite for him, but you know, he started and he's had some drops, now he's hurt. So what have you seen from the way he's handled that and goes about improving and trying to get through this, basically? Yeah,
you know, there's been ups and downs for him, and that's to be expected as a rookie. You know, I think it's easy to compare us because of our similar, obviously, position and where we were drafted, but you know, when he first got here, I just wanted to try to be a vessel for him to help him out in any way I can. And he's a smart guy, and he has a really good feel for this game. But, you know, obviously, when you get into the games, it's a lot different than practice. And the games may be moving a little faster, but I think he's doing the best job he can, just trying to improve each and every week. Obviously, you know, he's hurt right now, so he's just trying to get back. But, you know, I'm still really excited to see what he can do this year. We're only 5 games in, so there's a lot season left for him to still make an impact for us, and I think he will. So from my standpoint, I just try to encourage him to continue to keep your mind right, you know, continue to focus on the little things that are going to make the difference, you know, releases, catching the ball at its highest point, being more of a dictator, not trying to react as much. And I think he's doing the best he can right now, and I know he's going to continue to improve. And, you know, I think he has all the ability in the world to try to help us. It's just a matter of getting that rhythm. You know what I mean? I just think when he has that good game, that's kind of when you start to get that momentum. But as a rookie, you got to fight and claw just to kind of try to get that traction.
You mentioned the ways that, like, the comparisons that were made between you two, but
yeah.
I guess what ways is he different than?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think the number one thing that I notice about him when he's running routes, he's smooth. And I say I'm a smooth route runner, but I'm kind of really like powerful, and I'm bumping guys and a little bit more physical in my routes. He kind of just glides out there. The way he comes in and out of his routes, the way he gets vertical is really smooth, and that just comes natural to him. Now, when you start to get film out on you and guys start to, you know, they're clicking the film when they see Deami, they're like, okay, this is a fast guy. So how do you use that to your advantage? So I'm just trying to continue to help him, and I had to learn that too. Being a fast guy is not just going to be enough in the NFL, and he has more than that. I think people didn't give him as much credit as he deserved coming in, the way he's able to run other routes in the route tree outside of a deep ball. But just that press man coverage is an adjustment, obviously, when you get to the NFL, because those corners can run pretty much as good as you can. So I'd say he has a really easy speed and glide to the way he operates out on the perimeter. And the more you get comfortable using that to your advantage, is going to really open that up even more.
All right, I got a random one for you. Have you gotten stuck in the smoke from the smoke machine?
Bro. Last week it was the worst it's ever been for me. And that's nothing against the people who run that or anything like that. But usually it's like, I almost got the cadence down. It's like, shh, shh. And when it pauses, I sprint out. But today, I mean, last game, it was like, shh. I was like, oh, shoot. Like, I'm trying to navigate. I'm like literally walking. I'm like walking, trying to get through the smoke. I'm just making sure I don't run into one of my teammates or one of the cheerleaders are like right out there. So, yes, last game was a challenge. Yeah. So that definitely got me last week.
Good luck this week.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I don't know how to follow that one. With Deandre Carter, you said he can play both slot and outside.
Yeah.
Why can he do that?
Oh, I think the biggest thing I noticed about Deandre when he first got here, obviously, you know, you talk about feel for the game, but not everybody necessarily has that. Obviously, you know, younger guys may have that, but you can tell he's played football for as long as he has. He may not have been starting, he may not have a big role, but he understands concepts, he understands defense, he understands spacing and the importance of spacing, and he has the ability to be able to come in motion and run in the slot, get off of press coverage on the outside because of his quickness. And I just think that bodes well for him because it's more that he can do for us, and that allows him to play more because You know, we have some solid slot guys, but right now we're down with a few of our outside guys. And if he was just a guy who couldn't play outside, then he probably wouldn't be able to play as much as he can. But now the fact that he could go outside and help us, I know Atlanta, he had some nice catches. Last week he had some nice catches. That's huge for him and that's huge for us because I think the way we also train train receivers here is we don't just train guys to play one position. I think all of our guys try to be able to play all the receiver positions. But he came in with that ability, so that already was an advantage for him.
So I'm curious how, like, you've played with a number of quarterbacks. You have guys in and out all the time around you. You don't ever seem to get flustered. Why not? Why is that?
Yeah, and you have frustrations here and there. I'm human. That happens. But I think I just try to stay in the moment and control my process and my body of work, per se. You know, you can't really necessarily control all the outside factors, and I'm a competitive guy, so you want everything to go right, and that's not always going to necessarily happen, but you got to be able to compartmentalize and do your job and control how you're running routes and dictating and trying to get open and being quarterback friendly. And that's the best thing I could really work on, and I think Drew and Hoss do a good job of really keeping me locked in to that. Because the ebbs and flows of the games, you know, I'm going against some really good guys, so you want to win every single, you know what I mean? And that's just, they're going to make plays too. Sometimes things may not work out the way you draw them up, but you can't psych yourself out the game, and that's something I kind of learned as a younger player through college is, you know, a guy will make a play or you may miss a play, and it just gets you down, and then you miss the next opportunity. That's what I'm working with Deandre with right now, because you guys like that, they want everything to go right, and just football happens, and everything's not going to go your way. So I've really just learned to try to stay in my zone and really focus on what my job is on each and every play, good or bad, and move on to the next one. I think that's really helped me just keep focused throughout the game.
To the point about asking about Deandre and some of these other guys, over the last 2 years, other than you, the receiver room has been kind of in flux. It's always different guys having to step up. Right now, you guys have some injuries. And yet, obviously, there's probably, you know, points left on the field or things like that. But the group has been able to come in, and it has been more of that next man up thing that you guys like to talk about. What is it about, if it's Scott Turner's play calling or the system, or what is it about this situation that new guys can come in and yet you don't miss maybe as much as maybe people might think?
Yeah, I think it's a very receiver-friendly system. I think the way the plays are called and the concepts we have, they're very easy to understand, so you're able to play multiple positions. So I think the system definitely helps. But I think the number one thing I can speak to, this is probably one of my most fun groups since I've been in the league playing with. We got a group of guys we got big guys, we got fast guys, we got guys that can do it all. We got guys, I mean, we just got a lot of hungry guys. You don't really have anybody who's kind of been that big star, things like that. So we got a lot of humble guys in our group. We're very unselfish, and we care about each other. We're happy when other guys have success. And so when you see that guy get that opportunity, or you see another guy coming in for someone else, you want to be able to not let your teammates down. You want to be that guy who makes that play for the group, who makes that play for the offense. So I think, you know, those two coupled together has really benefited us as an offense and as a receiver group to have success no matter who's in there, because of the mindset that we have going into each game, just being ready for your moment, and the way we practice different positions to be able to be comfortable if those situations arise coming in the game.
Just to go back to last week, obviously Marshawn Lattimore is a good cornerback. You were up against him at times. This wasn't a game where you went off statistically. What was the challenge for this game? Either something he was doing specifically or they were doing defensively, or was it just something on your end that just for whatever the reason it didn't get you the way you had like the previous week? Yeah,
I mean, he's a good corner. Like I said, at the end of the day, I think he's one of the top 3 corners in the league personally, so he's going to make plays. You know, we didn't connect on all the things that we should have, and that's what you got to continue to work and grind, and sometimes you have those games, but you know, I think it's easy. Sometimes people see the stat sheet and just don't appreciate everything, and you see, you know, you get to watch the film, and I felt like I did a really good job. I really do. Obviously, you want to be even more productive, but sometimes those things happen. Some things are in your control, some things are out of your control. So my mindset is just learning from it, continue to try to dictate like I was, and be ready for the next opportunity. But I don't take any credit away from him because he's a good player, and I'm going to continue to work, and you're going to continue to get those opportunities to be able to go against good players, and you're just going to, you got to, you know, keep fighting through there.
John asked you about all the quarterbacks you've played with. You also caught a football from a cannon recently.
Yeah.
What was that process like? Was that a first take, and just how fun was that whole experience?
Yeah, that was really fun. I did that with Team Milk, and I went out there, and it didn't take. It took more than one take. It took a little bit because it took about 7 minutes per try to kind of to reload the cannon when you didn't catch it. So one time it would go to the right, one time it would go to the left, and we finally got it, and then it hit me, and I dropped it, and I was like, dang. Now I feel bad because I'm like, all these people out here, you know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to be able to catch this ball, and now it's done hit me in the chest. But you couldn't really appreciate how fast it's coming out the air. So, when we finally got another opportunity, it was the perfect shot, and I caught it, and it was super fun. I think that was one of the more cool experiences I've got to do off the field because it allowed me to not just doing that little bit, but the kind of the behind the scenes work allowed me to show my personality. Kind of allowed me to. Just be myself and have fun. So that was a really unique experience that it seemed like a lot of people enjoyed.
When you're in the locker room, you guys talk about, hey, I saw your Instagram ad, or do you give Chase crap for his Mercedes-Benz commercial? Do you guys ever talk about that stuff?
Yeah, it comes up from time to time. Guys will be like, man, I see you got that money, da-da-da. But I'm like, nah, man, I'm just trying to make it happen. But I think it's cool when you get off the field opportunities to be able to further yourself, your brand, and show yourself outside of the helmet. And I think the main thing with myself, kind of with those opportunities, I think they don't happen unless you're productive on the field and you're a good person and things of that nature. So I've always tried to keep a balance between being able to do that stuff off the field, but keeping the main thing, because this is the breadwinner. You know what I mean? But anytime I get the opportunity to try to do something fun or unique or partner with a group that kind of have similar views and support me like that, I'm gonna jump at those opportunities. But yeah, you kind of get to tease guys from time to time if you see them doing something a little silly.
Terry, earlier Taylor told us that he was still kind of pissed off at practice today from the performance against the Saints. Can you feel that? How does that work at practice?
Yeah, I could feel his demeanor was a little more serious today, and he's always serious, but you could just kind of tell there's a little something was on his mind. So, I just continue to encourage him. That's still my guy, man, at the end of the day. No matter what happens back there, I'm going to still work and try to be the best player I can for him, just not player but person. And, one thing I learned from him, and this was even before the season, but one thing I learned, he always just responds. And, he had a tough one against Buffalo, and he said that, and he responded. And I have no doubt in my mind he's going to continue to respond and get better. But as an offense, we can also help him as well, and that's what we're going to try to do.
For a guy that's had a career like him, kind of always the underdog, can he use that as fuel this weekend?
I think you can, but I think one thing with using I can't speak for everybody specifically, but my mindset when you're kind of having that underdog mentality or that chip on your shoulder, it's good to have that. I think it's important to have that edge and play with that type of tenacity. But at the same time, you can't use that as I'm going to show them, I'm going to prove them, or this is like a revenge thing. Because then I think it's more so of a pride perspective instead of, I got this chip on my shoulder, I'm trying to do this for my guys, or I'm trying to be the best and improve from last week, not to prove the doubters wrong, but to put us in the best situation to be successful and win as a team. And I think Taylor takes that type of chip. I think he takes the chip where, he's going to be better than he is a previous week, or he's going to improve on the things he may not have did well because he wants to do it for us. Not more so he wants to prove that he can play at this level. I think he's done that. But I just think he does a really good job of learning from his mistakes and taking that chip and making sure it benefits us all. Thanks, Derek. No doubt. Appreciate you guys. That was fun today.